Hello everyone and welcome to the Small Talk with the Etsy Collective, an initiative to bring you closer to the change makers, industry veterans and Etsy sellers and give you an opportunity to listen to their thoughts, ideas and find some inspiration that we all need right now. I'm really happy to share with all of you that Etsy Collective completed its 2-year anniversary milestone in August, and thanks to all of you for coming along with us in this journey. Your love, enthusiasm and feedback is what keeps us going, and we look forward to many more such milestones with you. We have a short celebratory video here to share with all of you.
Hello everybody, we have completed 2 years of Etsy Collective. It has just been an incredible way for people to connect. Etsy's mission is keep commerce human, and I believe that Etsy Collective has been able to work towards that mission and serve that mission in a very effective manner. Here's to 2 years of Etsy Collective and many more to come. I believe that this is absolutely the best platform to keep commerce human in addition to being online on Etsy.com.
Congratulations Etsy on completing 2 years of the collective.
This is an amazing milestone. Kudos to you guys. Congratulations.
Has to be the first collective which we had in Bikaner House. I was invited to the event and I absolutely loved it.
I so vividly remember that when I walked into the room, there was so much energy, there was so much enthusiasm. That itself became such an amazing memory for me.
A DIY session at the end of the workshop, I think it's really a stress buster that you get involved, you learn and you leave the session with a souvenir.
There's so much to learn from so many creative geniuses.
I'm sure it adds a lot of value and provides a lot of insight into the many facets of this industry.
Etsy India team really took on the challenge of making the lockdown successful and informative and educative for all their Etsy sellers.
The entire Etsy team, keep rocking, you guys are doing great.
And thank you for keeping commerce human.
Thanks so much, Radhika. And with that, I'd like to introduce our team. Sunanda Krishna is the PR and marketing lead for Etsy in India. The Etsy Collective has been her passion project for the last 2 years, and it's something that she never tires speaking about. Radhika and Ria are part of the marketing team and the behind the scenes stars of the session. They'll also be answering you in the chat box. Anushka is a member of the Seller Success team for today, and she will be answering all your questions related to setting up your Etsy shop. Her team has helped hundreds of sellers in setting their Etsy business up for success. And finally, I'm Ishani Mukherjee and I'm part of the community and marketing team, and I'll be moderating the session for today. And now I'd like to introduce a very special guest, Shashi Rekha from the Etsy shop Crafts and Drapes. Crafts and Drapes as a brand is a beautiful tapestry of Shashi Rekha's passion and hard work with some equally beautiful products. The journey of Crafts and Drapes is an inspirational story of following your dreams. Thank you so much, Shashi Rekha, for being part of the Small Talk session today.
Thanks, Ishani, for the introduction. Firstly, I would like to thank the Etsy team for choosing me for the theme of the session. And also, I would like to thank the audience for joining in and showing interest in knowing my work and they want to know about my switch from the corporate life to the creative world.
Thanks so much. Thanks for being here again. With that, I'd like to just start with the agenda of the session. So I'll start with a short introduction about Etsy, what we're doing in India and globally. Then we'll move on to the fireside chat with the seller, and then we'll take questions from the audience. So Etsy is a global marketplace for unique and handcrafted goods. We provide creative entrepreneurs with a platform to showcase their work to people from more than 80 countries in the world. We are the only marketplace which focuses on creative entrepreneurs, and we help our community of sellers turn their ideas into successful businesses. We connect millions of buyers and sellers from nearly every country in the world. Currently, we have 2.8 million active sellers all over the world, selling more than 66 million products to over 47 million active buyers. In a time when automation is increasing so much, it's our mission to keep the human connection at the heart of commerce. And that is why we built a place where creativity lives and thrives because it's powered by people like you. In 2019, Etsy became the first e-commerce company to offset 100% of carbon emissions from shipping. For every item shipped in our marketplace, Etsy automatically invests in environmental projects to offset the emissions. Since 2019, we have offset over 173,000 metric tons of CO2, which is the equivalent of 20,000 homes' energy use for a year or charging 22 billion smartphones. And it's not just us as a company who feels responsible to account for our carbon footprint. 90% of our buyers also say that environmental sustainability is very important to them. There are three major categories of goods that can be sold on Etsy. Handmade is anything that you design or make comes under this category. It's also our biggest category of sales. Vintage are items which are at least 20 years old in product age, and craft supplies are anything that can be used to make something new. For example, materials like fabric, gemstones, etc. This is also the only category that we allow bulk sales in. And lastly, I wanted to share some trivia that shows that Etsy is built to encourage entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurs pick Etsy for their journey. 95% of our sellers are actually working out of their homes, and 53% of our sellers sold their first goods on Etsy. 83% of our sellers are also women, and 90% of our sellers are businesses of one. And we think that there's a reason that entrepreneurs pick Etsy, and it's because we believe entrepreneurship begins with you. That's why we think that all decisions regarding your shop should be made by you, starting from the price that you want to charge for your products to the policies about shipment, returns, and refunds. We also have a lot of seller services and tools which help you start, manage, and scale your business. The company was founded in 2005, and our headquarters is in Brooklyn, New York. We started a corporate office in India in 2018 in New Delhi. And since then, we have tried to engage with the creative community in India, and the Etsy Collective as an event is the result of this objective. Our aim with the Etsy Collective is to build a community of artistic individuals who are curious about Etsy as a platform and want to explore it. Now, we have done over 100 sessions of the Etsy Collective, and these are all the places that we have done these sessions offline. And I want to show you a small video of the Etsy Collective to give you a glimpse of the offline experience and what we have in store for you, hopefully not too far into the future.
Talk about forever. Talk about the.
I think Etsy was one of the first steps I took, which brought my passion out of just being a passion and into something which could give me, actual money. The ease with which anybody today can take any skill they have and monetize that and turn it into a brand, which is amazing. It means that anybody who has a skill can make it more than just a hobby.
Count the distant tumbling stars from the roof of our cars, letting go of our hearts. Close your eyes, pretend that it's your first kiss. Darling, can you feel it? Oh, so ignorant bliss. Oh, the whole night through.
We're not just about selling. Etsy is really about building a community of creative people. And what we've done in India is since last year is that we try through the Etsy Collective to meet with different creative people in different parts of the country. So far we've done about 32 collectives. Almost all the bigger cities we've covered, and now we aim to go to the smaller cities and interact with creative people.
It was great, quite informative. It was worth it.
It's always good to be around Etsy people and the entire communities.
People are very welcoming, and this workshop, everything was good.
Thanks again, Radhika. And now we'd move on to the most exciting part of the session, which is our fireside chat with the seller. So Shashi Rekha, my first question is, as the theme suggests, you did not start your career in the design field. So how did you come up with the idea of starting Crafts and Drapes, and what inspired you?
Actually, if I tell you that I won't believe me if I tell you I was not a art-loving person. It was just during my sabbatical, which I had after my baby's birth, that I got some time off the busy schedule to try my hands on in some DIY crafts. Of course, Pinterest was my source of inspiration. I got to know about so many art, trending art from Pinterest, and I tried my hands on quilling, then string art, and recycled so many stuff lying at home during that period. So after that break, when I resumed back, I was in a mind of like I wanted to go back to that creative world. I didn't feel like continuing my job for long. I had plans of going back to that creative world. I had plans of starting something soon on of something of my own soon. So yeah, but what I wasn't sure of only after when I quit the job, after some time I got into macrame, and that's how the journey began.
It's amazing. So, can you tell me a little bit about what were the first steps that you took to start your journey once you thought of leaving the corporate life behind, and how did you learn the craft of macrame?
Okay. Uh, when I decide, there will be like advice always. People will keep advising you if you want to start something of your own. You should start parallelly working on that idea so that if that idea doesn't work, you have your job in hand, or if it works, you can pursue that and quit your job. Uh, but in my case, I like. Um, I took this bold step without having anything in place because a working woman with a toddler, where they have any time to decide. No? You forget about uh, devoting some time to work on some other idea parallelly alongside your job and managing home and work. So thanks to my family who no, previous slide. I will tell you when to start. Yeah. So thanks to my family who backed my decision and supported me in this journey. Yeah, you can move on to the next slide. I have a small presentation which I'll walk the audience through. Ishani, can you take me to the next slide? Yeah. So when I quit, I didn't had any art in my mind that I'll work on this craft and monetize it. So, but I was sure I will be doing something in the creative field. I started exploring Pinterest, Instagram for more ideas for the trending crafts. So there I got to like came across various trending crafts like quilling, string art. So during the initial, from the day I quit, I luckily I was not sitting idle for a day. Also, I had life gave me opportunities in the initial phase itself. I got to try different art, also monetize it like quilling, string art, stitching as well. Design few dresses for myself or for my friends and made so many items out of recycling items which were lying around the house. I did workshops as well for kids. Then I designed party backdrops as well. So it was never, sitting idle, regretting what I decided. Well, like I quit my job and I'm sitting idle. I never had that moment in my life. Life gave me very like so many opportunities which kept my morale up and kept me motivated and like kept me motivated so that I stick to my whatever decision I have made of quitting and starting something of my own. So here, if you see, I have like there are some of my creations like quilling. Then this is the wall clock I made from the paper quilt, newspaper recycled. Then there are string art. I tried my hands. Then the fashion designing and the party cross. Can you move on to another next slide, please? So, doing all this, I tried my hands on macrame as well because I found that uh, uh, I was intrigued at how this art of knotting with simple cotton ropes, results in such exquisite items, and I was totally in love with this. Secondly, it was unique, and I wanted something which was scalable and had an international appeal so that I can reach out to wider audience. How I learned macrame? Yeah, I used Pinterest, of course, then YouTube videos, and I created few stuff and posted online on my Facebook and Instagram handle. When I got good response, I thought, yeah, I should go for it, and that's how the macrame journey began. These are my initial creations. Yeah. Next slide, please. No. Yeah, that's it, Ishan.
Great, thanks so much. I mean, of course, Shashika, you mentioned that life gave you a lot of opportunities, but I'm sure you also created these opportunities for yourself. So can you tell me a little bit about why do you choose to sell online and on Etsy out of all the other options, and how has your experience on Etsy been?
Okay. Ishani, I'm an introvert person, so I never had a plan of starting something physical and starting some physical shop or going for exhibition and participating in a flea market and sell face to face using face to face marketing. Also, I think in this digital era when you can reach out to the whole world sitting at home, I feel for a small artist, a beginner like me, selling online is the best option. Uh, and with the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and all, one should go for selling online. Why I choose Etsy? In my initial stage itself, like almost just 1 year after I started creating macrame, Etsy is like it's all a handmade. I used to be, I wanted to be part of it, and I felt in to reach to the international segment. I felt people trust Etsy, and they will come to Etsy and buy your stuff. Instead of having your own website, I think Etsy will work out. So that's why I choose Etsy.
That's great. I'm glad that you found the community that you were looking for and the buyers that you were looking for your product.
Yeah,
So
and it really worked for me. really worked for me.
That's perfect. So what does a day as an Etsy seller look like? How much time do you usually spend on your Etsy shop on an average?
It won't be different for any other like any other seller. It's same like you have to check inventory, order fulfilling, devote some time for responding to customer messages, queries. I devote 1 hour, preferably in the morning or late night, keeping in mind the international timing. Um, I try to respond to customers' messages as soon as possible. Of course, the time difference is there, but that's why I choose in the morning and night. And during the day, once in a while, I'll keep checking Etsy messages. Yeah, that's it. And of course, the processing orders, actually knotting and macrame stuff.
So you started your Etsy shop in 2018. How much do you think that your shop has evolved from the time that you started?
Okay. Here I would like to run you through my presentation. So once I choose macrame, I had problem because there were not those right kind of ropes were not available in the market. I tried many options like polypropylene cords and cotton ropes, which were like commonly available in the market. But the result was not that good. I was not happy with that the products. I didn't feel that it will create that effect. So almost I kept searching online. After almost 6 months of hunting, I finally found the exact kind of ropes which will just do justice to this macrame art, beautiful art of knotting. And once I got those ropes, actually, macrame is such a beautiful art that you have the ropes, right kind of ropes, and you can go on creating, whatever you want. So once I got those macrame ropes, and then there was no looking back. If you can see the first, on the slide, there were like initial creations were made from the cotton ropes which you get in the hardware shops. Then there was like polypropylene cord, and then I always believe that any artist should go for not only decor. It should not only serve decor purpose. It should be having some functional purpose as well. So very initial stage, I started creating something which will have the functional purpose as well, like planters, then the shelves, wall shelves, letter holders, yeah, and the bags, yoga bags, and the tote bags. I got a good response for yoga bags. In fact, I got a bulk requirement from Japan for this, and that's how I got more. My art got more developed. My skills got more developed, and I was ready to take on more intricate projects. Once like after the yoga bag was hit, almost 6 odd months I was going on creating yoga bags, and I was fed up. Actually, I wanted to add something new. Then I came up with one design of chandelier, and that's since then the chandeliers have been my best selling category of my shop.
That's amazing. I think I can probably get a glimpse of a chandelier in your background as well. But really, in those pictures, you can kind of see the evolution of the products, and most recent
Yeah.
product is absolutely beautiful. I know you have a few more pictures to share with the audience later on, so
Sure.
we'll go ahead. So we would love to see like the different products that you make and how you take custom orders from your buyers. You can you tell us a little bit about us about custom orders?
Yeah, sure. I will run you through the categories of products I have in my shop. One should have a a varied product portfolio so that you can reach out to a wider audience segment. Also, one should have in mind that uh, it should fit all budgets of all type of customers. Like customer would be loving to would love your work but can't afford to buy a high-end product. There should be something small, something for them as well. So my shop will have right from the keychain, earring, accessories, right up to the backdrops, wedding backdrops as well. So also having a varied product portfolio helps in brand awareness. Like if a customer comes to your shop and buys, say, chandelier, and he or she likes your work, they might come to your shop to buy again from some other category. So there is a brand awareness and also repeat customers. I have many such repeat customers who have bought multiple things from my shop. Of course, risk management is also a biggest advantage of having a varied category. Suppose say if one category doesn't work, so you have other categories to focus on. Um, I too have some categories which doesn't have much sale. So I focus on, you get an idea which category is working good and you can give more options to the customer innovating in that area, in that category. So beginning with my bestseller of the shop, light pendants, rope lights, then chandeliers. These are the best sellers. Of course, it's a lovely addition to your bedroom, living room, or studio. Home decor, you have table runners, placemats, then the pot holders, coasters. I have included bright colors as well because I feel local customers will go for table decor as well. So I have included bright colors. I have one table runners if you want to have a look at it. So this is the table runner I have designed. This is a order to be shipped for on Monday. So yeah, it's a, as I said, most of my creations will find a functional purpose as well. Yeah, next slide, please, Shani. Yeah, these are for the cute ones. To make their room more beautiful, you have buntings, colorful rainbows, and tapestries. If you can see, there is a cradle over there. This is one of the project I recently made. Again, it was a custom order. My first project on swing or furniture kind of furniture category. So also this all will be a perfect gift for a baby shower. Coming to planters, planters, of course, as the name says, it's an evergreen product, always in demand. Uh, every house will have such a planter to plant their greens. Perfect for gifting, for house warming or get-togethers. Then I have tote bags, sling bags, yoga bags. Yeah, of course, it's a must-have for all those young and fashionables. It is again, if you want to gift your friends, it's a good option. So in tapestry, it starts like from a small tapestry like this. I have small tapestries of this. These are woven ones, not macrame. You can say macra weave kind of stuff. Then we have mandalas, the dream catchers as well. So dream catcher, the one which is shown in this picture is getting a good response. I have almost made 6 odd pieces of this till now in last 2-3 months. Yeah. So these are all party decor. I was very lucky to get the opportunity to work on such big projects. Some were approached by the wedding planners, event managers, and some were approached by the wedding couple themselves. So I have a good collection to added to my, good collection added to my category, this category, party decor category. I feel once you are confident in your art, you should be you should keep the customization open for clients. Not only it results in more orders, but you get more happy, satisfied customers. The customer is since the customer is involved right from the beginning to the end of the creation. Also, it's as per their choice, and if it works out, they are very satisfied. They are happy customers. of course, much time and efforts is involved, and so it you can ask for a good premium for that. They would be willing and loving to pay for it. Yeah, it, it is surely rewarding in terms of better pricing, accolades, and of course repeat customers. In my case, I opt for this custom order because I find it as a source of innovation. You get new ideas which you can explore more. Also, I got lot, as I said, I got I was very lucky to get so many orders, so many custom orders, which helped me add some stunning creations to my collection. Some were projects. Some projects were like I was dreaming of making them, uh, which I got the custom orders for. So I was lucky in that case as well. Processing customer orders is like you actually need to have a lot of patience and understanding. It surely involves a lot of efforts, time, understanding the customer requirement. Let the customer tell you, no, here you should be all ears to the customer's requirement. Hear what they listen to what they want exactly, right from the color, the shape, the design, and the dimensions of the product. I would like to share one example, one custom order processing example here. This was a box chandelier requirement from a family in Mumbai itself. They had come to my home and discussed the sketch and all. So we were on the page first. On our page, we started with a sketch of like what they wanted, um, and the dimensions, and they had. Then we decided the design, and then what colors to be used, and what element that the tassel, how the tassel should be, should it be fringe or tassel, all the in detail requirement was discussed with the client. And then uh, you can see the end result. It is like um, the last photo is their living room photo. It is hung, is sitting in there, and it's looking absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it looks like an art installation, really. Like, I think.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I think across your pictures, really, you completely redefined the category of macrame. It's gone, like, some of the more common ones, of course, tapestries, mandala art, dream catchers, but it's gone way beyond that, and the functional element of it. And this one, really, I think it's really a masterpiece. Thanks so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Okay, finally, before we move on to the audience questions, what is your advice to someone who's just starting out on Etsy? What would be the top thing for them to pay attention to?
Okay. When you're so for the new beginners, I would suggest, like, once you are hands-on, you have tried your hands-on on the art, you are confident in your art, then yeah, I think you should innovate, create something original, and go on Etsy. Go on Etsy. Yeah, of course, if the work is original, it will surely work out. You can be assured about the response, good response you will get on Etsy. Second is like, yeah, of course, the pricing factor. Since if you are coming on Etsy, you are coming for the international segment, and there comes the shipping part. The postage almost is like international postage is too high, so you have to factor in that, the taxes on the all the taxes, all the materials, and of course you value your time, how much you would charge for the time you put. And thirdly, yeah, of course, stay connected with the customers. You keep updating about the progress of the work, and yeah, respond to customer queries as soon as possible. So I personally had this experience. If you respond to the customer's messages as quickly as possible, there are more chances of winning that customer. You know? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think a lot of the audience questions that we've got, your entire presentation was so comprehensive. Some of them have already been covered, but I think some people might want some of the initial points to be repeated. But I'll kind of start off with the new questions that I have. So Ashi Jain, as a member of our audience, is asking, is there any macrame online course available or something that you recommend?
Uh, Actually, there are so many. As I said, I'm also a self-learned macrame artist. So that was long back, like 3 years back. Now it is very common in India as well, and there are so many YouTube channels which you can subscribe. There are so many artists who are doing this tutorials kind of stuff where you can go through and learn the art.
Okay. Ankita is asking that what was your experience with your first macrame order?
Okay, on Etsy, yeah. See,
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, after I listed my products on Etsy, the first order I got was almost 4 months after I listed my first. I listed my products. So I was not at all prepared for the shipping part and all. Once when I got that order, that was from UK, Hertfordshire. It's a lovely place. I was so excited, but at the same time nervous how I will fulfill that order. So I started checking with all my friends what are the good options available of international shipping, and that's the time I got to know about India Post. I went to the post office, I think, first time in my life. uh, I was hoping it should work, and I did. I dispatched my order through India Post, and it reached there. It reached UK in 2 weeks' time, almost at in 12 odd days it took, and yeah, that was it.
Wow, that's amazing. I think, yeah, of course, I'm learning because of the opportunity presented to you. So, of course, you have
Yeah,
to
of course. Yeah,
work around
that's
that.
what I got good opportunity to, which kept me on track and on in what I was planning to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Anupa is asking, what is your design process like? Does it start with getting inspired from Pinterest and then adding elements, like design elements of your own to it?
Actually, yeah, of course, Pinterest is still my, I whenever I get some time off my orders, free time, I head to Pinterest to explore what is new trending. So I still get ideas from, yeah, Pinterest. I tweak them. I tweak the design. I see how, once I look at the design, you can't go on creating, same design. Even if you see, even if you want to copy, it will not be same. So you have that design, you learn that new thing. For example, um, uh, like this coasters, round coasters, which were displayed in that slide. So I used that to create the placemats, the big placemats. So yeah, similarly, you add a new dimension, add a new element. It is your own design.
Perfect. We have a question from Soumya Arora, who I think would want a little bit more deep dive into how did you take the bold step of quitting from a normal life and I guess they're referring to the corporate life and becoming a full-fledged artist.
I feel it all depends on an individual, how you weigh, what you weigh actually. If you are very career ambitious, this step will be very tough to take. For me, it was like I weigh more my family more, my personal life more. Yeah, my decision was, yeah, I would like to mention this also. My kiddo wanted me to mention this. He always used to tell me when he used to see his friends' mom who are housewives, how they get to spend so much time with their mom. So one of the reason is like I took is uh, is that is that also. Secondly, I had not good experience in last few years of my career. There were a lot of politics involved. Actually, yeah, I climbed up the ladder. I was at AGM level when I quit Reliance. But yeah, but last few years were a lot of politics, and I'm not of the kind, who can cope with all that. Working hard is okay. I was good at it, but handling people, you know, I didn't wanted to spend my almost 8 to 10 hours of the day in that negative environment, and it was getting very tough. I wanted some time off, and I was like, this is not the life I want to live. So for me, uh, yeah, that decision was not that tough. Maybe it will be tough for a career ambitious person. Yeah, of course, thanks to my family who backed my decision and allowed me to take this step.
Okay, thanks. I'm just going to take a few questions, direct a few questions to Anushka, who's a member of our Seller Success team. So Anushka, the first question, is the most popular one. Can you run the audience through the steps of starting an Etsy shop? And this question comes from Kripalini, and they're also asking about their product, which is they melt and pour soaps, and can they sell that on Etsy?
Sure. So Etsy is a very beautiful platform for artists and manufacturers, and there is no age limit to become an artist and to start a business. So Etsy made its registration process very simple and user friendly, so that anybody can join the portal and start their own venture without giving a thought. So there are 5 steps. You just need to follow those 5 steps and you will be live on Etsy. So I'm just going to brief you about these steps which you need to follow for opening a shop on Etsy. So first step is shop preferences. So first of all, you need to go to the website or etsy.com and sign in, do the registration with your email ID and password. After the registration is done, you need to follow the 5 steps. So here comes the first step, which is shop preferences, in which you need to follow, you need to choose your preferred language, currency, and country. After that, the second step is name your shop, in which you need to name your shop, like what you want to put for your virtual store. And the third one is stock your shop, in which you need to add your first listing with one image and a few details that you can change later on, that is editable. And then the fourth step comes is how you will get paid. So on Etsy, you need to have a business PayPal for receiving the payments. So you need to mention your business PayPal email address over there. And afterwards, you need to set up a billing for Etsy. You need to choose the way that how you are going to pay to Etsy in future if you get a bill. So these are the simple 5 steps which you need to follow for opening a shop on Etsy. And we also have a team, onboarding team, who are the expert agents who are helping these sellers on a regular basis to open their shop on Etsy. So if anybody want the assistance, they can fill a form which will be there in the chat box, and the concerned person will get in touch with you. They will not only help you in setting up your shop on Etsy, they'll guide you about the listing process, as well as how to decorate your shop to make it attractive, and how to fill the details to to show that you are an authentic artist and manufacturer. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Anushka. Another question is about shipping and packaging. How does shipping and packaging work on Etsy?
So on Etsy, as it's a virtual store of the seller itself, Etsy is just playing a role as a mediator or providing a platform so that a buyer and seller can interact with each other and they can start their business. So there is no restrictions on Etsy on shipping and packaging. We want our sellers to be free to choose their own shipping agent and to do their own packaging to showcase their brand to their buyers. because it's a virtual platform of the seller itself. They can decide their own shipping policies, refund and exchanges, returns, whatever they want to choose for their physical store. It's a virtual store. So you can set your own policy. So we don't want to restrict any seller to choose a particular shipping company. You can choose any shipping company to which you are comfortable to do shipping. And still recently we have integrated with our partner, which is Yakit. It's a shipping service provider which had a tie-up with a few shipping companies. So if somebody wants to do shipping and wants to try Yakit, they can also fill a form. We have a team who is handling the questions for Yakit. They'll explain you the whole procedure. But at last, it's the decision of the seller itself that whether they want to do a shipping with Yakit or any other shipping company.
Great. Thanks so much, Anushka. And to the audience, Radhika has shared in the chat box the link that Anushka referred to, where you can fill in your information and get a call back from our team of associates, who will help you list your products and create a shop on Etsy. I'll go back to my question for Shashi Rekha. So the other questions that we're getting is, the first one is from Samantha, who is asking, one is saying that they are feeling very inspired by your story. They're also asking about how do you price your products considering the tax, shipping costs. So do you have any tips on pricing your products for the international market?
Yeah. As I said before, international market, whenever you have to price your product, you should consider the materials, all the materials which you are using. You should actually at least apply a factor of two times of the materials cost. Then comes the labor part, means like if you're doing on your own, you are the only artist involved, then you should consider how much you would like to be benefited for hourly basis, and how much time that the artwork takes. And if you are employing something, to factor in that their wages itself also. And then comes the taxes. If you are selling on Etsy, then there is a Etsy processing fees, and on the transaction fees is also involved. And if you're using PayPal for accepting the payment, then those taxes also you have to factor in. So I usually consider all this, and I accordingly price my products.
Great, perfect. We have another question from Samantha actually, who is asking, how do you compare your corporate life to a creative business? And in the beginnings, were there any difficulties that you had to get over, and were there any struggles in the beginning part of your journey?
Yeah. So when I quit my job, I had this in my mind that I have to compromise on the earning part. Yeah, of course, your art will not give you that much, money right in the beginning. So on that front, you have to compromise. Secondly, yeah, I was prepared for that, so I never had this feeling that I decided I took some wrong decision or something. Also, as I said, I was lucky to have all the keep my hands busy and my mind busy, so I was never in idle state to think of all that it is not working. So for me, it was a continuous journey. There was no break, actually, not a single day of rest. And since the time I got into macrame, they are actually, if you love your work, it's not you don't have to work for your life, actually. So it applies to me. If you wake me up in middle of the night also and ask me to knot, I would love to do that. So that's it. So I never had a problem. Like, I never regretted my decision of quitting that corporate life. Actually, I was not happy. As I said, I had a very bad experience in last few years. So that getting out of that negative world was, was the best decision I did.
Amazing. So definitely need a lot of passion to carry you through the initial difficulties for sure.
Yeah, of course.
The next question I have is from Siddhi, who is asking, do you have any recommendations for affordable and reliable career partners for people who are just starting out their business?
Right now, I can't say because of the COVID situation, but till before that, before COVID, most of my shipping was through India Post. So in case the customer wants a speedy delivery, because India Post delivers, there are two options, the registered post and speed post. Registered post takes 2 weeks, whereas speed post was within 10 days, means like 8 to 10 days it used to get delivered. I never had a problem in like a lost article or something. In fact, I have got one return delivery also intact in place. So India Post, of course, but now since because of this COVID situation, I don't want to risk get into I don't know how reliable is India Post right now. So I switched to FedEx actually, but for a beginner, currently I feel. Still, I think India Post, Speed Post is open, so you can go for it. Or actually get into contract with some courier companies. FedEx I've been using for long. DHL is also another option. You can get into contact with these courier companies to get a good deal from them.
Okay, perfect. So I think we have time for the last few questions. There are a few questions that I've got from Pinky, Manu, the audience who are asking, how do you promote your business on social media, especially for someone who has no experience in marketing? How can you really create that awareness about your brand and communicate an impactful story?
Yeah, that's the area where I am not good at. Actually, I'm an introvert person. I'm not a social media person. In my personal account, if you see, there will be no posting, on Facebook or Insta as well. But I try to keep posting on about my work. But yeah, okay. If your work is good and you should photograph it very well and write a good story. If you are not able to write on your own, you can take help from some friend or from someone who is good at writing, and try this on Insta, Facebook. It really works for a beginner. Secondly, I haven't, these are the two places where I promote. Other than this, I haven't still not got into, any other digital marketing. So I can't comment on other channels.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so there is a question from Subhada who is asking, how can you make a successful business from selling a one-of-a-kind art, for example, mandala art? And how do you get a different perspectives about the product and how to think of out of the box designs for your art form?
Again, it depends on your passion for the art. If you have a great passion for that art, you try innovating, try be creative, create something new. Take ideas from, and I will surely mention again Pinterest. Pinterest has amazing collection of all those trending art happening all over the world. So you can explore your area if it is mandala, because I keep checking fiber related creations and then get my idea from there. So I think one should head to Pinterest. It's a great place to explore your area. If it is mandala, you can check what is trending in mandala, and yeah, of course, the medium which you want to do that mandala in, because macrame also has mandalas. So in that medium also you can explore the ideas what you can do, where you can innovate.
Perfect. So lots of sources of inspiration online for sure.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that you mentioned in your presentation was the custom orders being a source of inspiration was really interesting. Actually, if you open up your products, your shop to taking custom orders,
Yeah, custom
definitely you can leverage the ideas of your clients as well and create and co-create a beautiful product together. So that was a really good tip, I thought. Great, thanks. I think we're just on time. So I thank each and every one of you for being part of the small talk session with the Etsy Collective.